Food is a necessity. Therefore, it should be available to all people. But the goal isn't charity or handouts. It's sustainability. It's all families knowing they have the ability to provide for themselves and for the community. Of course, this is a much more difficult path than simply distributing food. That's why we're investing in communities for the long haul and partnering with all aspects of the food system to make lasting changes. In Lealman, Florida, you'll find what's known as a food desert. This means there are no grocery stores in the area, leaving many people who often don't have private transportation to either ride the bus or walk to the store, which could be miles away.
Really an issue that a lot of us don't think about, but it affects every city in America. As we get more urbanized as a culture, people think, their food comes from the grocery store versus realizing how food is produced and thinking about the choices that they're making when they're eating. If we don't understand where our food comes from and have a basic grasp of that, and none of our kids or none of our neighbors do, we're really vulnerable, and we need to understand that as a society.
Because at first you might ask a third grader, where do tomatoes come from? And they say, Walmart, Publix. But when you see a tomato growing on the plant, see all of the effort that takes, you're more understanding, oh, there's a whole system that is required for this to happen.
Fresh fruits and vegetables is very hard to come by because a lot of these organizations don't have the capacity to have a fridge, store the fresh things, and if they get it from donation, a lot of times it's on the brink of going bad.
We want to help change the community by teaching people about different types of food, teaching people where their food comes from, getting more community involvement.
The answer isn't just food pantries, or even opening a grocery store. It's going to require a revolutionary approach to eating. Is food being grown from sustainable, local farms? How is it produced? How is it transported? Distributed? Do families know how to cook the food available to them? This is why the Fresh Initiatives Hub is so important to the community.
What makes us different from a pantry is we're not a food bank because we're not huge and we only work with produce. And we're not a pantry because we don't distribute directly to clients. We kind of connect the food banks and the recovery foods. A lot of produce, if it's coming from the food banks or Feeding America, it's going to come in bulk. Well, if you only have 2 or 3 people working a food pantry in one room in a church, you're not going to be able to receive 1,000 pounds of cucumbers. So we take that in through volunteer teams. We sort out the things that are already spoiled, and then we repackage in smaller quantities that food. We're a food hub, but even that's kind of a vague term. We're basically absorbing the infrastructure needs like storage and sorting and just the space to take in larger quantities. So we're absorbing all that infrastructure so that the pantries can just take the quantities they need and distribute them.
And so now with fish, they can give fresh fruits and vegetables. They can offer lettuce, they can offer eggplant, peppers. I think we had more than 50 varieties of different types of fruits and vegetables because they want to make sure that all these organizations have a stable source, consistent food channel, because then they can serve their clients. When there's not a consistent food source, then people won't have a consistent food supply either, which then continues the whole issue of food insecurity, which we're trying to reduce and eliminate.
UMCM Suncoast and the Fish are dedicated to changing, over time, all aspects of the food system in Lealman. And we believe that this example will be copied by other communities. We're asking for you to join us on the ground floor as we build one of the first sustainable, dependency-free communities in Pinellas County. One-time donations are always appreciated, but our approach to this issue is about return on investment. We're looking for partners to make their mark on this community for years to come, and there's a variety of ways you can help.
We are going forward with another school, North Shore Elementary, where we'll be growing for production to get it into the school's cafeteria. So I'd love to see more of that. Getting this produce at these urban farms and at these school gardens into the cafeteria so that we don't need to be sourcing from Mexico, California. We can be eating the food that's grown right here. We can grow 12 months out of the year in Florida.
When I reached out to UMCM Suncoast, Andrew Chenard was my go-to person. He was our contact. He has been amazing through this whole process as we have become a community partner.
When UMCM Suncoast supports programs like the Fish, it allows ministries such as ours to provide an opportunity for students to carry out their faith.
At the turn of the century in 1900, there was about 70% of our population that had some connection to agriculture in their employment and understood the family farm. Nowadays, we have about 1%. And I'd love to see that number get to be about 4%, which is not a huge increase, but when you look at numerically, that would provide a lot more jobs, and it would provide a lot more connection to what is really healthy.
And it's not just a question for lower income people. This is something that affects all of us, where our food comes from, how it's processed, how it's transported, who grows it, and how the workers who grow it are treated. All of that affects every person. It just so happens that lower income people face the brunt of that. But a healthy food system will be healthy for everyone.
The Fish is a community development project with the currency of food, rather than a food project that dabbles in the community. If you're looking for a way to make lasting change, we can help. By investing in all areas of the food system, we can connect you to whatever service makes the most sense for you. There's no reason to wait. Everyone deserves a meal today.